What's going on, you guys? I'm as always Mr. Grimreaper 512, and welcome to another welcome to another edition of Back in Time. And also, I would like to welcome you to your welcome to Mob Week. On today's episode of Back in Time, we're going to take a look back at the 1974 classic and sequel to the 1972 classic, The Godfather, Part 2. So, of course, you know, the film is sort of partially a sequel, and it's partially a prequel to the first film, to the first film of The Godfather. And in this one, we get to see how Vito started. We get to see how Vito Corleone got his start in the film. We get a chance to see how he began his life of crime as Don Corleone, as the Don. So so yeah, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff in this movie that was good. And this one and the third one to make it really weird that these two got very, very mixed reviews from critics, which I don't know why, because I thought the whole trilogy, some people say part two sucked. Some other people said that part 3 sucked. But I don't agree with that. I thought the whole trilogy was good. I thought the whole trilogy was really, really freaking good, as we are going to talk about for part 2 for The Godfather. So, of course, you know, yes, there will be freaking spoilers, which I'm surprised that if you have not seen this damn movie, what is wrong with you? You need to go see this. You need to go watch this movie. You need to go take a look at this movie, and then come back and take a look at my review for this film. But we're going to go through spoilers, and I'm going to go through the plot a little bit. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of spoilers in this. So, of course, you know, this film was also directed by Francis Ford Coppola. This is based on The Godfather by Mario Puzo. Some of the individuals that were part of the first film returns in this movie, with some brand new characters added in the mix. Al Pacino, Robert Duvall, and Diane Keaton return in this film. And joining them is Robert De Niro, Talia Shire, Morgana King, John Cazale, and Lee Strasberg. The film, again, the music was written by Nino Rota, who is one of my, if not the greatest composers to ever walk the face of God's green earth. Because I love the way he focuses on the music behind this film. That he focuses on the film's music. The film's music is fantastic. So is the third one, which I'll get to that later on. But we're gonna take a look at so as the plot goes, the whole shebang starts in 1901. Okay, so the family of 9-year-old Vito Andolini is killed in Corleone, Sicily, after his father insults a local mafia named Don Ciccio. I can't say his name. Vito escapes to New York and is registered as Vito Corleone on Ellis Island. In 1958, during his son's first communion party at Lake Tahoe, Michael Corleone has a series of meetings in his role as a don of his crime family. Corleone Caporegime, Frank Pentangeli. I can't tell you. See, these damn Italian names, man. I can't really say them. It is dismayed that Michael will not help him defend his Brooklyn territory against the Rosato brothers, who work for Michael's business partner Hyman Roth. That night, Michael leaves Nevada after surviving an assassination attempt at his home. So, what's going to happen is that this film is going to go back and forth. Which I liked. I actually kind of liked this idea that we get to see what is going on with Vito's life as he is rising up through the ranks of being the biggest crime boss in New York, and we get to see, and then during the whole thing, we get to see. So yeah, the prequel and sequel situation works for this because we get to see what's going on in Vito's past, and then we get to see what is happening in the present time with Michael as he is trying to what's the word I'm looking for? He's trying to get an idea of how his new role as Don is going to be. He just lost his dad in the first film. By the way, my review is up for the first film if you want to take a look at it. And he's trying to he's going through a bunch of stuff. He's going through a bunch of hell, trying to understand how he's going to get past, how he's going to get by with everything in this film. So we're going to take it. So Michael, we go back to Vito's story. Vito is living in New York with his wife Carmela and their son Sonny. He loses his job due to nepotism on Don Fanucci. He's invited by Peter Clemenza, who is a big character in this film, to take part in a burglary. We go back to the present day. So Michael is suspecting that Hyman Roth is planned his assassination, but meets him in Miami and feigns ignorance. In New York, Pentangeli, I think that's how you say his name, attempts to maintain Michael's facade by making peace with the Rosato family. They attempt to kill him. Roth, Michael, and several of the partners travel to Havana to discuss their future Cuban business prospects under the cooperative government of Fulgencio Batista. Michael becomes reluctant after reconsidering the viability of the ongoing Cuban Revolution. On New Year's Eve, he tries to have Roth and Roth's right-hand man Johnny Ola killed, but Roth survives when Michael's bodyguard is discovered and shot by police. Michael accuses his brother, Fredo, which a big scene comes. I'm not going to spoil it right now, but it's coming. A big scene between Michael and his brother happens at the end of towards the end of the film. So we're going to go to that later on. After Fredo inadvertently reveals that he met with Ola previously, Batista abruptly abdicates due to rebel advances. During the ensuing chaos, Michael, Fredo, and Roth separately escape the United States. Back home, Michael learns that his wife Kay has a miscarriage. So that sucks that his wife that happened to his wife. Okay, let me see here. Okay, so we're gonna go back to Vito's story. So during this whole film, we're with Michael. We're going back and forth between Michael trying to realize what he did, why he's doing what he's doing as Don Corleone, and he comes to find out his own brother Fredo just screwed him, just betrayed him. He accuses his brother of betrayal, and stuff like that. And we come to Vito. We during the film, it keeps going back and forth. You trying to figure out what you're trying to figure out what is past and what is present during the film. But we're going to skip all this and we're going to go to the final part of the film, where, of course, where as we go to the final part of the film, I want to warn you guys what happens between Michael and Fredo was, number one, it was a complete masterpiece with how that scene was played out, how he lured him out there in that boat. And Fredo is trying to be forgiven. He asks Michael for forgiveness for what he did, for what Fredo did. But I don't think Michael ever forgave him. I don't believe that Michael ever forgave him. But what I believe is this, is that Fredo got what he deserved in the end for what he did. We see a shot of Fredo. We see a shot of Michael just standing there at the window, watching all this go down. We're actually thinking of this, and then it happens with this guy by the name of Al Neary, who is in the boat with Michael. Who was in the boat with Fredo. As Fredo is saying as Fredo is reciting I'm trying to think. Fredo in the film. Let's see here. Let's see. Sorry guys, my mind's not all there today. But Fredo in the film is reciting a Bible verse. And he is scared. You can hear his voice. I kind of felt bad for him. I really felt bad for Fredo, because Fredo was trying to be Fredo didn't know what the hell he was doing. He didn't know what was going on. Well, at least that's what I believe while watching the movie. But Fredo, we're gonna go back a little ways, because they're in Nevada, and Fredo is privately explaining himself to Michael. He feels resentful at being discarded, and he helped Roth in expectation of something in return. Unaware, he claims, of the plot on Michael's life. He had no idea. What the hell they were going to do to Michael. And Michael responds by disowning him. which is kind of messed up if you think about it. But yeah, that scene with Fredo out there was beautifully shot, and what Nino Rota, how he brings the music into that. You hear this wonderful music being brought into it, and it just makes it it just makes it more worse. It just makes it more intense. It gives you an intense atmosphere of what happens to Fredo. He's reciting a Bible verse in the water in this boat while they're out there fishing, or so he thinks, and never understanding, never knowing that he has a guy on Michael's orders going to pull the trigger, has a gun has a gun in the back of his head, and they pull the damn trigger. But yeah, I don't know why people said this movie. I liked it. I don't know if it could have been pacing issues or what it could have been. That they say, but they said that it was not good. So, and I believe, and there's Pacino. Many believe that this was his finest acting. That what he did in this film was really good. So, and okay, so what is dumb too is that Art Carney, of course, what it says here is that Pacino got snubbed for Academy Award for Best Actor that year, which he shouldn't have. I believe he shouldn't have. He the way he acted his ass off in this film, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this film. That's why I give this one a 10 out of 10 too, because you see how during this film you see how he's trying to be in this one he's being very ruthless. He's being very ruthless towards his brother when he finds out what Fredo did. And I think this movie, even though critics said that this movie was not good, I disagree. I highly disagree. That The Godfather Part 2 was a gorgeous masterpiece. That this freaking film was Pacino's best work. Even Robert De Niro, who plays a young Vito Corleone, did fantastic in this damn movie. The whole cast did. And people want to say that this movie was a disaster. I don't believe that this film was a disaster. I believe that what they were given, what Francis Ford Coppola was trying to tell the story of how Vito was brought up during his start before he became Don. We go through a bunch of stuff that he went through as a kid. We go through a bunch of stuff that he went through as an adult later on in his life, and we get an idea of what he was trying to put together, of the family that he was trying to put together for himself. Not knowing that he would be later on in his life be the most ruthless Don in New York City. So, but yeah, that's just my take on this, and I enjoyed this movie every which way. The Godfather Part 2 is an incredible masterpiece. It is a really good movie, and I enjoyed it. So let me know in the comments down below if you like this movie. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys thought. and all that. That's going to be it for me. I'm Mr. Remember Fallen 2, and I'll see you all in the afterlife. Peace.